Hey guys and girls, I want to give a short, brief explanation of arranging windows that have a job that has storm windows on it. And it's very important that you keep track of where you are when you take the windows out, and so that when you go to put them back, you'll know exactly which one goes where. Now, I know there should be props for this, but I'm just going to go through a verbal explanation of it as sort of as a groundwork for what we're doing and how to keep your windows straight. So, it's like this. You go to your window number one, which is either upstairs. If there's an upstairs, go upstairs and start first. And start pulling the storms out one window at a time, starting with window number one. Or if there's additional windows in that same room, then you could go to the right, and that would be minus one window, and the other one would be minus two. If you have extra windows before one, then you just go into the negative. So the negative two will go on the bottom of the pile, negative one, one, two, and then however many windows are in that room. Now, if I haven't confused you already, this is the storms you put down, first you put down a sheet so that you can put all the storms in one pile in that room, and then also leave a space so after you clean the window, you can stack it over here, fan them apart so they'll dry, and you don't have to set anything on the carpet. You're already clean and set. Sometimes it's advantageous to go into a second bedroom or even a third if you've got plenty of space to work and you can keep track of what windows came from which room. That would be to your advantage. Sometimes you just take the windows from that room and then make a station in however many rooms that you need to. If you have, like for instance, the kitchen, once you get to the kitchen, you probably want to put the storm window for that in another pile. Just remember what windows are in what stack. So when you pull a window out, usually one is up and one is down for the double hung storm windows. And one thing to remember is the last window out of the frame is the first one to go back into the frame after you're done. So keep that in mind as I'm going through this. So you go up to the window and you pull the first one out, and that's window one, we'll call it, will be on the bottom. And then you pull the other one out. The screen, you gotta set that separately in a different pile. The second one out of the window will be the second window out of window number one. And then you continue with that process, so you go, window one will be on the bottom, window two, window three, window four, whatever is convenient for your work to get everything placed down on the towel or on the sheet. When you pull the window out, you've got the top and you've got the bottom. You've got the inside, which would be closest to your chest. Storm windows have inside and outside too. When you pull one out, the inside is close to your chest. That's the same way you set it down the pile. Now, the thing that happens is when people clean the windows, they'll be turning them around. They got a spot over here, and then they've lost track of what's inside, outside. But you've got to try to set them all at the bottom on the bottom of the pile, and the inside. You start on the inside of the window, clean it, whatever the process is, and then turn it over. So you've got the outside of the window you're doing second. Once the outside of the window is done second, you don't try to flip it around or turn it on its side. You take it right from that position, and then you set it over in the done pile. So then, which side of the window is facing you at that point?
You get the outside face.
The outside facing you. So you start out with the inside facing you, clean both sides, and then in the finished pile, the outside will be facing you. So you follow that process all the way through, And so when you come back into that room after you've done all the storm windows on that level, where do you think the first window to go back into the frame is in the pile?
Look around.
Would it be on the top of the pile or the bottom of the pile or what? Here's the time when you got to think window number one. Where are the windows that go into window number one? Where did you? Where did
Window
you
number
start?
one would be the initial one at the very far end.
Correct.
But I don't know what that leads to being that, like the end one would be.
Well,
But
don't worry about that. You just want
Okay.
number one.
all right, well the number one would be the second one in or the first one out. Because if window number one was the first one that you pulled, that
Right.
wouldn't be the first one that you put
So
back in. It'd be the one right behind it.
In terms of which ones go back in first, what would you say?
Two would go in first over one, right? That's what you're saying.
You got to put back into window number one. It's going to be the ones at the bottom of the pile.
Hmm.
And the first one that came out of there would be the second window in the stack,
Mhm.
right? So you got the window all the way behind. That wasn't the first one to come out. It's the second one. So you get the second one out. That goes in first because that was the last one out, and then you put the second one for window number one in second. Kind of confusing. It'd be a lot easier if I had props here to demonstrate, and we'll get a taste of it today. So then you keep taking from the bottom of the pile. When you first get to window number two, then you gotta skip the bottom one, and then you gotta go to the second one in, and that'll be the first one back in window number two. And then the second one that goes into window number two is the one on the bottom.
Hmm.
So it's sort of like you gotta reach through and get the second one for the first one back.
Makes sense.
Confusing as it
No,
is.
it's making sense.
Okay, so I think that's about it. I mean, I don't want to go too much into depth about this without having the actual windows in front of us, but always important, never put a storm or a window on anyone's carpet. Sometimes you can get away with, if you run out of towels, you put it on a hardwood, but they kind of have a tendency to slide a little bit on that. So best policy is to have everything, have plenty of towels, bring a whole stack of towels in because you're going to need a lot of towels for storms, and keep the floor covered, wipe up anything that needs to be wiped, and so that's all I want to cover right now. But you've been a good audience, and thank you so much, and talk to you on the next time.